to someone else who has a thing or two to say about stimulus. That is Douglas Holtz-Eakin. He is American Action Forum president. Doug, Congress has been doing this dance for months now, right? I mean, it was amazing. They really mobilized the first time around and got it done. What is the problem at this point, especially since we're past the election now?
Well, I think the problem is really twofold. Number one, there's a genuine disagreement on the funding for the state and local governments and the business liability protections. And that must-have on each side has been there for months, and they have simply not come to resolution on it. Now the approach is addition by subtraction. Take those out and see what's left. I think what's left gets done, honestly. It's just a matter of the clock at this point. The second really is things like the Save Our Stages Act, which is something that sounds like a good idea, but then when you start offering that up, out of the woodwork come the Save My Restaurant Act, and then Save My Cruise Ship Act, and all others rifle shot things that people would like. And you can't do them all, so do you do any of them? And that, I think, is what's going on right now. You got these add-ons to the basic package. I think we're probably going to see, for example, a big energy bill tucked inside of this before we're done. We may also see a fairly big initiative to end surprise medical bills included in this before all is said and done. So there are a lot of dimensions to the negotiations, and it's taking a lot of time.
And Doug, these kind of smaller issues, and they're not small for the folks involved, but the ancillary bills, I guess we'll say, that's really the process of lawmaking. But I'm curious what role you think the Georgia Senate runoff is playing in these conversations, because that's kind of a macro theme that I think a lot of people in markets are looking at, saying that, well, does this benefit, Loeffler more? Does this benefit, Warnock and Ossoff more? And is that kind of playing in your view at all here?
I think without a question. I think if you're the majority leader in the Senate, you don't want to lose your majority, and you're looking at this vote as a key test of whether it's going to help or hurt down in Georgia, and that taking what he thinks is a bad vote on a big bloated bill would hurt them in Georgia, and he won't do that. And so we've seen a pretty disciplined approach from Mitch McConnell on what is and is not on the table, and he has stuck to the same positions he's had for many months.
Doug, I just want to go back quickly to what you mentioned on some of the ancillary bills. Aren't they, in fact, important, though? Sure, the Save My Puppy Act is probably not one a lot of people will get behind, but for the restaurants, they desperately need relief.
Oh, yeah, no, there's no question that we have sectors of the U.S. economy that have been just hit badly, and leisure and hospitality, performing arts, name it. Those are the poster childs for the pandemic recession. The real issue is, should you have that, or we're going to put another, $300 billion into the Paycheck Protection Program? Why aren't you just going there? And it's the rifle shot versus a very effective, in my view, Paycheck Protection Program, which got $500 billion out in under 4 weeks last spring, and could do the same thing again right now, because the conditions are about the same, right? We see a surge in cases. There's a need for a financial bridge to get the other side of that surge. And, we did it back in April and May, and it could happen again now. And I think that's the strategy.
Doug, I know you're an economics guy more than a sort of pure politics guy, but I do want to ask you where you think the GOP goes in a post-Donald Trump presidency world. I know there's been sort of a lot of scrutiny on the left about the GOP's attachment to Donald Trump. What do you think happens now?
Well, I think there is a genuine contest for the leadership that will sort of begin right now and end in the 2024 nomination. And I think the important thing for the traditional Republicans who essentially walked away from Donald Trump, particularly in the foreign policy arena, what they need to remember is Donald Trump didn't create his base. His base was there, and it was discontented with what Republicans were offering. And anyone who wants to go back to the principles that prevailed prior to Donald Trump needs to make sure that they don't lose track of what that base needs and why they were discontented. And that, I think, is the key issue.
Doug, always good to talk to you. Douglas Holtz-Eakin of the American Action Forum. Thanks.
Thank you.